prepare an Italian gravy.
Woo!
Remember that, gravy.
You told me about gravy this summer, which is why we're here.
For gravy?
Because gravy,
really
Everyone else calls it
More
spaghetti
Italian.
sauce, but it's gravy.
where I come from,
Gravy.
gravy is brown.
Right.
And it's made from,
From
meat,
meat.
drippings.
Yes,
And fat.
but
Yeah.
we always said, all Italians, if you ever converse with any Italian, but
In
you don't know
America.
she's not Italian.
In America.
And then she says gravy, then you'll know she's Italian. Right away.
Are there tomatoes in gravy?
Yes.
Oh, good. How are we gonna do this?
Well, I want you to watch what I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
Then I think first, let's have a drink.
Let's have a drink.
Happy New Year!
Put the olive oil in the pan with the garlic chopped fine. And saute the meat, the pork neck bones it has to be. And then we put in the 2 cans of puree, the large cans, and 2 cans of tomato paste, and 2 cans of organic tomato sauce.
Ooh. Your mom would get a bushel of tomatoes usually to do
My mother
one.
would get a bushel of tomatoes, and she would take so many out of the bushel and wash them first, and then put them in and cut them up and put them in a big can to cook. And then she would, after they're cooked, she would, what did you call it, Chuck? You said she would strain them.
Oh yeah, through like a sieve or something?
She would make a puree.
For a food mill.
Right, a food mill. And she would have quarts and set them out overnight. And then she would pack them in wherever she packed them. I can't remember. Some little pantry she must have had. But anyway, and then she would use the fresh tomatoes. That's the real tomato. That's the real gravy.
That is the real deal. We had
Then I added the parsley, the salt and pepper, oregano, and fennel.
fennel.
Seeds. Fennel seeds.
Love fennel.
Because, it goes so well with pork. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, fennel.
And now
Now
we're
we're-
letting it cook
until it
for
gets,
For how long?
dark.
The gravy gets what
Dark.
color, Mom?
Dark, 1 hour from now. It's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And then Lynn puts in the meatballs in the oven.
1 pound ground lamb, 1 pound ground pork, and 1 pound ground round.
And then we add that to the gravy, some of it, not all of it.
We add what to the gravy? Some of the juice?
Meatballs. And
Oh, the whole
because
balls.
they're baked, there'll be a nice, caramelized something or other that
Oh,
adds
yeah.
on that pan. That goes in there too.
All the
It's
bits.
Just
The
just
bits.
pour it on.
Wow,
See, that's why I
I'm
like
getting
to fry,
aroused.
because you get the bits.
I like
you get
That
the
makes
bits.
it brown. That makes it brown.
Right.
That makes it dark.
That makes it
Dark.
So what color is it when it's ready?
When it's ready, it's dark.
Dark.
It's dark
So you're saying at 3
and
o'clock?
delicious.
Oh, baby, that looks great.
Oh, so good.
Does it smell like what Mom used to
So
make?
good.
To Anita, to Grandma,
To Grandma and
to Gravy,
to Gravy. All right. Woohoo!
dark gravy.
All right. All right.
Gravy that gets dark.
All right. Peace, love, and art. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
That's a sip.
Anita told me the story about when for 35 cents before they ate, right? What was that?
Yeah, my father would come home from work and give me 35 cents, and a carafe, or maybe just a bottle, to take to a neighbor's, and
They'd fill it up.
they'd fill it up for 35 cents. My
Where was
father
this?
would have that when I was a little girl. My
In
father,
Chicago.
yeah, in
They fill it up
Chicago,
with
yeah.
wine, right?
So they go
Wine.
to a neighbor and get a
Homemade
homemade
wine.
wine, and
Yeah.
you know he'd take it and put it at the floor.
And
Basically,
he
he
would
kept it
set
on the
it on
floor
the
and
side
on
of
the
his
table.
chair, and when he wanted it, he poured it in the.
Was it a jug or was it a regular wine
No,
bottle?
it was a wine bottle. It was a wine bottle.
5 cents.
And then Frank would always have a big jug box of Burgundy that we drink out of, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Which was great.
You look like a Steve
Nice.
McQueen.
They're all good.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's called Chuck.
I didn't know.
Get it
You
right.
know what I realized that I didn't
Delicious.
have that you have?
Well, Mom would make the raviolis, Chuck, and she would make the big raviolis.
They were awesome.
Yeah, and I helped her some. I would. Well, you never made ravioli, so you don't know what to do. But anyway, I would put the fork
Oh
and
yeah, the
lock them.
crimping. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, crimp.
I know that.
Yeah.
And then
Is that what
she
you say?
dried them.
And
She
then
put
I
a
would-
big sheet over her bed, right?
That's how you learn to count,
on her
right?
bed, yeah, and then we would set them there on the bed until
There
we
was
were
no
ready
big
to
table.
cook them.
To air dry?
Yeah,
For how many days?
No,
Hours?
no, like just
just a,
while
until
she's making
done.
more.
While
You
she's
know,
making more, and
Yeah.
when the company comes in, she
because there was no
cooks them.
space on the
Yeah,
table
but
or no
she
room
has-
anywhere
she
else.
has
It
a
was
small
like,
apartment.
use your bed. Your bed is a
Yeah.
table. You know.
That was fun.
It was great.
It
You
was
peek
fun.
in a room, and you know,
Yeah.
besides a crucifix on
And
the
then she
wall
would
with
tell
like
me,
all the
then she'd tell me,
rows of
count them.
ravioli.
You need to count them, and I'd go in there over 100.
Wow.
Well, she would
They were
have,
good
she would have our
size, though.
families,
She roll out the.
Well,
Yeah,
she made
all
them.
hand
Oh,
done.
she cut it.
and
She made them for a
She
restaurant
sold
too.
them at a
She sold them.
bakery, right?
Right,
Oh, I
restaurant.
thought it was a
No,
bakery.
it
They
was not a restaurant. They're a little shop.
Like
Deli?
a deli.
No, not a deli.
like a
Like a
grocery.
little grocery store.
Okay.
And she prepared 12 in a package for $1.50.
Oh.
Yeah, but then that was about $20 then, wasn't it?
Oh, at
No.
least
$1.50 worth of that $20.
$1.50.
What year was
No,
this,
hon,
Mom?
This was late.
This is like
I was married with
1920s?
the kids.
Oh
I
my
had,
God.
yeah, I was in
This
8th
was
grade.
late. This
Oh, you
was
were in
late.
8th grade?
Made a pure-
You can get
So just in case I missed it before, your mom would get a bushel of tomatoes usually
Yeah,
to
my
do
mother
one.
would get a bushel of tomatoes,
Been doing videos.
and she would take so many out of the bushel and wash them first, and then put them in a, no, and cut them up, and put them in a big pan to cook. And then she would, after they're cooked, she would, what did you call it, Chuck? You said, she would strain them.
Oh yeah, through like a sieve or something?
She would make a puree.
For a food mill.
Right, a food mill. And she would have quarts and set them out overnight. And then she would pack them in wherever she packed them. I can't remember. Some little pantry she must have had. But anyway, and then she would use the fresh tomatoes. That's the real tomato. That's the real gravy.
That is the real deal. We had to help Chuck too.
What?
What's the color of the gravy when it's done?
I didn't know it changed.
Yes, I know, Mom. But you always say you cook it until it gets dark.
Dark, right.
Okay, Anita,
Dark.
I forgot.
you're cut off.
Make sure you cook it until it's.
We're cutting you off.
And then it's done.
That's how you know it's done when it's
That's why we're
dark.
documenting this, because everybody forgets a little bit more about it.
I know. It's fun. Heidi, I have a book to show you because the one thing about the village of Miljanico
Yes.
that was so amazingly unique was the church has these paintings that are totally whack. I mean, they're religious paintings, but you know, guys have like knives through
Sorry. I'm okay.
knives through their head. And they go like, "Yeah, what is he doing?"
But that was a perfect sound effect when you stabbed yourself. That's what the paintings are?
And I'll show you copies in a book. But what had happened was, evidently, a priest, came to the parish,
They always do.
and another priest came to visit him, and
Get over there by your
priest
mom and
had
tell
an
us. Get over there by your
amazingly
mom.
art history background. So he sees these paintings and he goes, "Oh my God, these are like really great. You know, these are really great, but they are in such need of restoration. This is like the jewel of your church. You have to save these paintings."
Wow.
So he said, "We'll take them down. I'll take them to God knows where, somewhere where he knows he can get them restored."
Fantastic.
Word gets out somehow in the hood that this is going to occur, and he starts taking the paintings, and the village people come racing to the church with their
Pitchforks!
saying, "You are not," they're stopping him from taking the paintings. And it took a lot for the parish priest to convince the people that what this other priest was doing was going to be good and benefit the
Preservation.
church. Because this is a really important thing to make sure that these don't deteriorate anymore, blah, 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 blah.
This is your home village?
It took
This is the-
Milianico, yeah.
yeah,
It took a long time to convince them, but they finally were convinced. And that probably happened in the 30s maybe, or the 40s.
That's
Do you
great.
remember the story? We were told the
It's a
story
fantastic
by
story.
a fella that worked at the art museum in Matera, which is the bigger city near Milianico. He worked at, it's a museum of sculpture, and he said it was fascinating that, you know,
It is
that
fascinating.
almost, they didn't almost get restored, and that, you know, that these people were ready to like
Yeah.
go after him, the priest. It was pretty
That's
amazing.
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, now
I'll
I've
show you
left
the
your
book.
shit.